So, last time, I'm trying to remember, I got up to green science apparently. It's a little bit of overkill, but that's fine. I was actually considering from the outputs onwards to be yellow belt, not yellow belt, red belt. Can't remember what I'm doing. So next is blue. After this, I think before that though, I might untangle this mess. This is quite the... I'm not sure what best describes it. It ain't pretty though. And I think when I originally built this, I got the numbers wrong. It was meant to share like gears with something else. So, where is... oh, there's military. So military takes stuff from over here. So there's grenades, turrets, a lot of turrets. And the red ammo. They're missing... oh, they're missing steel, right. Steel does need attention. Ah, yes, I did actually move that as well. Did I move all of it? Yes. So this can actually be deconstructed and I can actually do steel too, finally, because it's not actually at full length here. And there is some belt weaving that it needs as well, that I can finally do. Oh yeah, and all these trains. I think I did this in, after last time I was on here and started measuring out actual tracks. And if I lined up this one correctly, I actually thought about how to get it on grid, and the tracks on grid are here. And so this, which I did here, it might need a bit of adjusting, to say the least. Hey, a legend! How's it going? I think the chat started working. It's been a while since I've seen your name, I think. But I haven't been on Factorio properly in a while. Belts or bots, choose your side. You know which side I'm on. Alright, so this thing can now be deconstructed, as it turns out. So there. That little bit of wall there. Just get rid of that as well. And that. And now hopefully the game doesn't... performance doesn't collapse too much. So the next step is these guys. So that's military. I don't think I've done numbers on these yet too. So what do I need? I need 3,200, which is 2 belt outputs. I could make them bigger, so I can output more. Instead of... and that'll make it longer. Alright, I think it's time to head over to the Excel. So, these are 5.5 with the beacons they have. The craft time is 10 for those. The productivity is 1.4. Hey, Loki! Loki. I'm actually a bit later than I wanted to be as well. I was meant to be on meant to start like an hour ago, but I was watching a YouTube video and I wasn't paying attention. Nicely timed. A friend just stops. Ah, excellent. Now. Oh, actually. I don't have Discord on, so I can turn that up slightly. What was I? I already forgot what I was doing. Oh yeah, I need to see what status this was at. Ah, okay. So I have a little bit that going on there. Why is that empty? So that's fully charged. That doesn't have ore. Aha! That's why. Nor do you. Because of those reasons. And this one because of you. Okay. What's the... Okay. I'll just map view it in. So, yeah, it should be there. And then there, that should complete it. Yep, there it goes. Alrighty. So, military. Military. Start with the original blueprint. And then we'll work at it from there. Yeah, this green crap's gonna have to move. So there. It was 10 seconds, wasn't it? I'm doubting myself now. Yeah, it was 10. Alright, so... yeah, 5.5, 10-second craft time. 10 machines. How many machines do we need for 3200? 30? Nope. 40? Too many. 36? 33, 26. Lucky pat pats. Hey. Good relevant time of lurk? Oh, excellent. I'm normally trying to avoid this time because it's a bit awkward for everyone. 34 is 3001, so I think it's 36. 36 is the magic number. So how many have I got here? It's probably half of 36, I'll bet. 19. Which incidentally is basically half of 36. Here come all the auto hosts. The Sam Lander and Shred Guy. Yeah, this is gonna need 2 in parallel. One on its own is not enough. What I will do is switcheroony these. Let's go blacklist. Oh, I don't need to do that, it's only inserters. And then in case it'd be a whitelist. No! I do need to destroy the belts. They're all the wrong direction, so if I don't destroy them I'm gonna have a bad time. So, deconstruct you. Can't forget that. Yeah, what I want is the stuff running up like that. And then they'll have to run down there. Or up there, actually. So you output there, you output there, input there, and you input there. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna tweak this a little bit more. Let's get rid of these. Get rid of those stupid medium power poles and just make it substations. So they're getting power over there. It's fine. Okay. Just take all this up, and all I'm going to do is move them over one tile and have a substation in the center, and the center substation should cover the neighboring production thingy. So you go there, then there, then there. Storage is full. I was wondering, it's like, why is that bot floating? It's because this is all full. It's only a minor problem. Currently. That minor problem might become a big problem. Yeah, oh, I lost count. I only need 18. 14, so 2 more. 16 and then 18. Hey NG, how's it going? Oh. You could go there for now. I'm not going to see any... oh, maybe if I stand here I might see some stack inserters. You can have that. There we go. Conceivably, I could move these over and be real stingy with the substations and have that over there. And really pack this thing down. So, like, that goes there. Well, actually there, strictly speaking. And I can just move this up. I'm trying to steer clear of just copy and doubling the previous builds. The trouble is, unfortunately, that's generally the only way this thing works. Oh. Bad blueprint. It's naughty. Where's next to the roboports? I might squeeze them after this. Another bank of them. Oh, perfect. So it's a max distance, and yeah, so I want the substation just like that. So overlap by 1. Or do they? They does not. They follow their own grid. Come to think of it, this actually the change in the science recipe does affect purple. It can be real narrow now, with the same sort of arrangement, because there's only 2 in, 1 out. Just thinking about that. Yeah, I could squeeze medium... Oh, I don't want medium poles in there. Been thinking about all that. It is stupid. The problem is, ultimately, no matter what you do, speed always wins. Fastest person always wins. And I don't think... I'm trying to think how to phrase it. I don't think people realise that Anti isn't just about, like, he is actually pretty damn good at the game, in general. Like, everyone assumes that he can't, like, he'll fall over, and so that he'll just fall over if you make him do mega bases, but that's not really true. Or at least not as true as it's perceived. People underestimate. Oh yeah, as I say, when everyone else was just setting up steam power, that he'd already just finished automating red science. Like, the speed at which stuff happened in that team is ridiculous. Yeah, you can do mega bases fine. His blueprint is perfectly, immaculately, perfectly ratioed. And I don't think many people really appreciate that. Or that his speedrun designs are very tightly ratioed and calculated out very, like, they calculate out very precisely. And I don't think that's really appreciated, just how well it's done. Okay, let's deconstruct this. Oh, right. Oh. See, I didn't put the loopy-doopy thing back in. In theory, 1600 is fine. No, it isn't. It needs to be across both sides. 2, 4, 6, 8. It's about here. Probably the best thing I can do is just push this out slightly. I are smart. It's not hard to build at the same speed that Anti does too. You just got to build smarter. I mean, you look at his base and everything is there to maximize or minimize the time spent building it. It's really not that hard. Okay. So why did I have blue there? Why did I make purple? I think I know why. It's because it was backwards. It does beg the question why I don't bunch up the intermediates with the signs. I think if you compress the time scale, eliminate technology, just simplify the game, it will level out. Having said that, it'll still probably do really well. But that's because, again, he's really good at the game. Sick about this. Whilst yawning. Let's grab a bite out of it. Pop that there. Just wait for the rest of the crap to arrive. It's the production challenge thing is a scenario. It's called PvP in the scenarios option. It's pretty much always existed. It was originally back in version 12. It was something you downloaded from the forum. I think it was originally made for version 11. But it wasn't nearly as capable back then as it is now, because it was originally intended for just the original Conquest mode. But there's quite a few other modes now. Where can I get rid of some stuff? I only knew about it because I knew Clonum was working on it back a few months before, like a month before release. I say a few months, but I can't remember when exactly he started it, updating it. It's filled with a storage chest? Yeah, that was a few updates ago. It's kind of weird how it works. So you can apply a filter like this. Never mind. Okay. Moving swiftly along. You can store, you can filter storage chests. Yeah, but you can only apply a single filter. I think it does clear the items from when I tested it. There we go. Although, that did point out a serious thing, which is I need some requester chests here. And there's the output. I need to spit out the surplus grenades. Having said that, still trying to get your head around buffer chests. I haven't looked at them in a few updates actually. So these should have, or these, yeah. So buffer chests, they're requesters and providers at the same time. Now, can I wire that to that? Oh, I can set requests. When I first got my hands on buffer chests, I complained that I couldn't do that. It's kind of pointless. The worry is that I create a request loop. Hey, look at media. Back to 66. Yeah, I'm still rebuilding, unfortunately. It's taken what, 2 months now to rebuild this thing. Because I mean, I say 2 months just because I mean off and on. Let's pop some of that. What I need is a combinator-based request. Seems like a third wheel. It's handy to keep. Actually, this is a good use for buffer chests right now. The problem that I'm worrying about. So these are here. So like this is taking out of the network, putting it back into the science. But if I personally need piercing ammo, or something needs piercing ammo, the requester chests and my personal logistics can still pull from them. So this is actually really handy in this situation. So before I'd need a whole lot of combinator logic, but now I can just use a buffer chest. It just eliminates so much logic. Now the output is there. I might just pop that there. So yeah, this is the best use of buffer chests. It just suddenly eliminates this huge amount of complexity. Why would you need requesters? So you can differentiate, you can set up these requesters so they won't pull from these. So these will only deal with personal logistics. It's kind of a wonky explanation. The biggest problem with requesters is they hold on to items forever. So like if you have a stack of 50 going into requester, 50 gun turrets is quite a lot of gun turrets, and in the earlier states of the game you don't really want to have those. It's a lot of iron and crafting time that could be spent on science or actually defending. That's probably one good case, particular use case I can see. Something that have been on again, off again working on is replacing requesters in here with or the providers with buffers. Just Solar, thank you for the follow. Also, oh yeah, I tried replacing these with buffers, but it won't buffer to buffer request. If you're requesting, you shouldn't have an issue defending, no. Because that's high-tech science. Okay. What else is clogging this place up? Piercing shotgun shells. Flame turrets. I made a lot of flame turrets. There's going to be so many assembly machine ones. electronical engine units. So the hope is I could drop that there. The other hope is that I can drop that there. Yeah, mostly works. There's no storage though. Alright, what else can I clear out? Apart from copper plate. It's a lot of laser turrets. It's a lot of nukes too, 310, 70. There's just full of nukes at 480. 2,400 stack inserters. It's a lot of stack inserters. Stone. There is a lot of stone there, eh? Yeah, buffer chests. There was problems with... so in most cases they worked fine that I tested. But then there was a few problems popping up where it would cause a lot of just dumb crap going on in the circuit network. Oh, in the logistics network, not the circuit network. Generally, the worst of it happened when you connected the circuit network to buffer chests and such. You're not a requester. Let's make one of these a requester. And so they disabled the buffers requesting from requesters feature, so that buffers would only would only supply to personal logistics and construction bots. There. So it's more to satisfy, if anything, to Korax's playstyle, where he only really uses construction bots. He doesn't really believe in using logistics bots. So if you use construction bots for everything, it makes a lot of sense to have buffer chests. Because the construction bots can pull from them, as well as provide to your personal logistics. And when you return those items, they return to that chest, which makes a lot of sense. Just gets a whole lot messier once you include logistics bots into the mix. But yeah, I did have a map going which worked quite well-ish with the buffers. Another thing they were really good for was if you were picking stuff off a belt and putting it into the buffer chest, it means if you pull something out and then a surplus appears, it goes back into that chest. Bots can't take from buffers. They can now, but you have to tick a box. That was the compromise, was you have to tick this, and it doesn't remember. But at least returns it to its original functionality. Other than that, it's not entirely wrong that... it's the wrong way to phrase it. It's true that they are of questionable use. But I can see them being useful for filtering and eliminating storage from clogging up. Alrighty, that's empty. Then again, it's still an improvement over some of the suggestions I've seen. Most people who suggest things suggest very dumb things. Alrighty, you go up. And down and out. Now I'm pretty sure I need a ton of these, like a stupid number. Let's check. These were, what, 12? Yeah. And these don't, unlike the other packs, these don't produce 2 of. And that's why I need so many. It's like 36 is enough for military packs at this production level, but 36 for these is barely enough for 1 red belt, let alone 2. So what do I want? 76, I think? Nope, that's 2980. 3000. 90. 3400, so I'm getting close. 88, 3300, 86. About 86, really. Gone for a week and not seen any new updates? No, there hasn't been a few updates in a lot of updates. Like, the updates have slowed right down. Which isn't a bad thing. It was getting pretty ridiculous. Hey, you fighting monster. That one there. Hey, Jimmy John. Welcome to insanity. So yeah, 1615 is the current. So this is the map that I'm working on. It's producing 2 red... the intention of this base is to produce 2 red belts of each science pack. I've been working on it since version 12, in one form or another. Going through all sorts of different goals as I go. So like in version 12, it was just to build a big base. And then in same in version 13 actually. And then in version 14, it was to build a 1 rocket per minute base. And when I was finished with that, about then 15 came around, and then I decided I'll make a 1 red belt of each science pack base. And that was all good. And then with 16 looming, I decided, alright, let's make 2 red belts of each science pack. And because back in September, I knew the old base ran at just on 60 UPS with all the belt updates from 25 UPS, it was a good idea to double it. And so not very often you get to see 68 lanes of green circuits on a bus. It's just extremity, nuttiness, craziness. It's like 16 lanes of red circuits and so on. So much green belt. It's tempting to say green belt, but it's green circuits on blue belt. Just to make that extra layer of confusing. Where's the ore coming from? So the ore comes through the smelting at the bottom here, which is currently being worked on, and these are all the train unloaders, which are working minimally at the minute. All the trains are 282, but I think I still haven't fixed up these. Copper trains, which are 363s. And so this is an automatic system for sending out trains. Each train's grouped up into groups of 4, and they get sent out as the base needs ore and as ore is available in the mining patches. And so if I zoom right out, like there's a few patches here and there going around. That one's really taken a hammering. This is one of the ones that I just kept running. Hey Yoba, how's it going? Oh yeah, and the 400% mining bonus. What is it actually at now? Yep, 420 actually. As well as, you see robot speed 18. I've done several military, the robot speed plus 1020% is a bit nuts. There's some laser damage in there too. Departing from most people's builds, I actually did the infinite military research, I actually need to finish researching artillery because I started this before 16 came out. I was hoping to finish it before 16 came out, but I ran out of time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some serious outposting. Hey, Festiva. Yeah, so this map itself is from version 12, which was early in 2016. Is it really that long ago? Crazy. But as expansion, I turned off by console before it was a feature. Power comes from steam, solar, and nuclear. Currently, it's burning fuel. You can see it's making more fuel and everything like that. But as far as the actual generator component goes, it's not doing anything. Finish the robot port escape? Ooh. Everything's coming from a creative electric energy interface. All the entities here are disabled except for the reactors, just to save on UPS. This eats about 10 UPS, I think it was, just existing on the world. Can buy weed in California. I heard something about that. Alright, so blue science I needed 86 of, so what is it divisible by? Is it divisible by what I'm building? No, it isn't. How about 90? 90 divides down into 30. That's a big build. I'm gonna need more. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Yeah, I'm gonna need a fourth row. Oh. Alright then. See if I can squeeze it in with the substations I have. Just. Is that amount of ore in ore pockets normal? It's actually a bit low for this map because it was generated in a very old version of RSO, like 5.1. When spawns there, just in there, and so to have like over here 8.3 is a bit low. Normally this would be in the 12s to 13s. The same up here, like this is 4.8, 5.2. How many hours? I think when I was loading it I had a quick look and it was like 810. Yep, 810. Which is actually kind of funny. Yeah, the Zenith maps. It just like his hours in the game are ridiculous. He has multiple 800-hour worlds. And I only have one. So, 1, 2, 3. You go there. Get some of that belt. Now, let's make this one always down for consistency. It's going to get interesting with the lane swapping in the center. Want to make a blueprint? Yeah, I want to make a blueprint of the entire thing. In general, at this sort of scale, it's about the same speed either way. Whoops, you're the wrong way. I gotta fix my blueprint library again too. It's been wiped. I get wiped blueprint libraries all the time. Hey, Spellmaster. Alright, let's blueprint that. Oh, I forgot the intermediate belt. There we go. In theory, I shouldn't be blueprinting the substations because it's not spaced right. So I'll fix that. I'll lay them manually. Yeah, I'm that much of a pedant. Especially if Brome shows up. Or tell me off otherwise. That's the only reason why I'm doing it this way. Playing Factorio is insta-click. There's a lot of lazy features in Factorio. There we go. Oops, I deleted that. There it is. Now, and because the base isn't smelting plates, I'm not getting beacons anymore, but that's fine. So that's 56. I now need a bit more. And hopefully about that much is enough. Did I get it right? Ah, it was one too long. So I don't need that. Those two substations are off by... Aww. Yeah, these, Oh, hang on. Oh, no, it's... No. There, that should be there. To line up with the next row. Huh. They're right. I won't argue it. I won't question it. Have I done the math? Yeah, I need to launch 3.2 per minute. Ish. I need about 6 silos, 6 or 7. I might just round it up to 8 or so. It's fairly straightforward just because one silo gives you 1,000 packs, so 3,200 science a minute is 3.2 launches per minute. I don't know, I've got to remember where the what the time it takes for the silo to go through its launching animation. So you are 22. 22, 44, 66, 88. Which is 3,300, which is fine. So 22 is 800. That's good. Impossible with alien artifacts? Yeah. It is possible for reasons that I don't want to get into because of a playthrough that involved getting large quantities of alien artifacts. I designed this base around an online calculator on a website called Barry Kun. It's out of date now and hasn't been updated. But there's others just as good. You did that playthrough? Yeah, SpaceX 4 times resources. Some people. Just with their crazy 5 in the morning ideas. That's what happens when they don't think about food for 3 minutes. Does that reach? No. No, it's fine. Without cheaty file like Kodiak, yes. Oop. Oh yeah, they're Nightbot and killing links. Nightbot is allergic to links. That one you linked though is a good one. I've used that one as well. It can be a pain to enter stuff in, having said that. But otherwise it is quite good. Now I'm going to do a bit of that. It's probably unnecessary, but eh. In saying that, let's just minimize it. So this outputs about 800 per minute, so it's fine. Just need to combine all of them. Now... there isn't one calculator. Barry Kun was about the closest that I found. Until science changed in 16. It was a very last minute change too, even I didn't know about it. On the release day. And I knew pretty much all the features, even the ones most people didn't even know existed, like the Infinity Chest. Okay, purple's next. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that one. Alrighty. That was 14, wasn't it? Yeah. And you're 14 as well. Let's go over to that. It's 14, 1.4. Military never took purple. I pointed this out to Exterminator early on when he was doing Ascending Supporters to Space, I think. That the way the science is distributed, only follow a robot count uses all 7 science packs. Otherwise, if you wanted to go from a mining productivity research to a military research, you actually don't need to change the amount of smelting you have. You can just switch from one to the other. There is a little bit of a transition time because it needs to catch up on purple first before it maximizes military. So there is a bit of a loss if you don't add all 7 together. But substituting like running military and purple off the same smelting doesn't hurt. It's quite a lot less. I think you only need like a little bit of extra iron or steel. It's not that much at all. Nope, that's not there. It's there now. Oh, it is crafting. Do I have copper wire? It's a real question. I can't see it. Uh-oh. No, I genuinely can't see it. Huh. Shouldn't have been there. There's no combinators. I started adding buffer chest builds now that is fixed. It was always in my train unloader for this build. I put that in ages ago, but then buffer chest, they took out the functionality that made it useful. I've tried it in this and it didn't work out how I intended, so I took it out again. And it's always been in the blueprint book. I'll have a look at that in a sec. Sodas, combinators. I remember going through this and I was like, I'm missing something and I have no idea what. I think I actually made it one too short as well. There we go. So the best use for the buffer chest is early. That sort of make everything thing that I have for the early game. That works quite well. Concentrates all your resources in one point. You can have your rower ports all around it and such. Quite nice. It's probably not the best having copper wire over there to there. Less than ideal. And I'm fairly certain this was meant to be... Oh yeah, there's barrels. Like there was meant to be something else like copper wire there instead of landfill. Because landfill, it's difficult to feed more than one machine at a time. You need a lot of material coming in. Now. Where's mining drills? There's grenades, turrets. That might be mining drills there. Turrets. Either that or I didn't connect it. I said that just as I zoomed in on it, I was like, oh. Oh. So the question is... how much do I need? Alright, let's enter this in. I also have a very high percentage margin on this, 5%, which is more than previous. What does Mojo think of the fluid wagons and barrels? It's not greatly ideal, but it's not the end of the world. I think I need bigger acid trains now. I needed like 3 282 acid trains now. Instead of 1. Where are we at? Insert mining jewels 1 blue belt. 2,400 exactly. Should also be noted that I'm not sending it down here properly. So it should arrive about here. Oh dear, that's made it craft more. So you combine there. There, can go there. Now I have 2 belts worth, and I need to merge it down into 1. And somehow, by some means, get it down. Oh dear. What happens if I run out of resources? I'd be worried if I did. Or do you mean the challenge? I'm not paying nearly enough attention. As I should be. Oh yeah, now I get you. Yes. The context of that challenge. Not everything that happens in chat is about me. Would you believe? So can I squeeze them there? No, I cannot. Thanks with a sub. 5-month sub. Face meets keyboard. Face meets keyboard, says hi to keyboard. And that's how keyboard replies. Thank you very much for the resub there. 5 whole months. It's a long time to patiently put up with a channel with no emotes. I'm surprised no one's demanded their money back. No channel emotes? How darest they? Here we go. Just bury all the mining drills in there. So how's this going? 2,100 mining drills, okay. Yep, it's already backed up again. Let those gears move. Don't forget the sleep we have lost. Yes. That's more of a general Factorio problem, I think. So what else did you need? Engines. Where are engines? There. Oh, right, I didn't plug it in. I was lazy. I was bad. And naughty. Alright. How many did I have here? 48. Let's see. That's 40, not 48. 48. The craft speed is not, it's not a 5.5, it's actually more, it's 8. I really pump the beacons around these things just to get the speed down. Well, the speed up and the time down. So 3,200. I love future me problems, future you problems. 3,200, okay. So I got enough at least. How much was there per thingy? 16. She says 1,000 per minute. Alrighty. That begs the question, how many need to go to electric engines? I think it's only like 1,200 or something electric. Yeah, 1,200. Sure, if I'd set it up right, I could have just had one of these just go straight into electric engines. That would have been smart. First emote should be beep. "98 hours? Beep and bop. I'm just thinking at the minute. That's all that noise is. So how much do I need for... So I need 2,400. I can't actually see it. Where is it? I'm just thinking... Engine unit is 2,400 and... So a full blue belt to science and then 857 to electric engines. In fact, let's concentrate them all in one location. Like so. Mojo pre-planning? Yeah, me pre-planning, sure. See you later, fighting monster. Thanks for stopping by. Huh. This gets rather interesting. Hey, bye-bye, how's it going? You... Blah, blah, blah. Huh. I'm just making all kinds of noises. Just sound like a test difficult or something. Huh. I was just thinking, what if I did one of these... What's-its? Like so. And there. Huh. Auga car horn. Oh, it's not tidy. I don't like it when that happens. Fine. Auga. Auga. Oh, won't reach. I, if anything, want that there, to there, to there. Oh, right. That crap's go. Who would want to have to send crap up to... Like, why would you need to supply this with input materials? What a crazy thing you'd do. It just needs to output, no input. Tidy is why it's so relaxing. I spend nowhere near enough time making this thing tidy. What if I'm doing it backwards? Like, if I put that there, then that there, and then I put that there, do that, Hey, hey. There, I think. I have no idea what I'm looking at, but I guess it works. Even the chaos is organized. It lives! It lives! And then this can do basically the same thing just here. I could actually just have another one right here. Like so. And the circuits can come in. The greatest day was the day that Matsuri introduced me to this. It's made the base so much more efficient. The only difference is to not put it in there, but instead to put it in there. One too far left with the underground. One too far left. Okay. Now I gotta find what that means. If anything. Or if I already fixed it. For the output. One. Too far left. So output. Or that. Right, there. I got you now. I get it. I are smart. It's probably going to induce more rage, but at the same time... oh, hang on. There's the grid. Almighty grid says overrules all problems. The underground grid is the deciding authority on all things, so I must deconstruct everything and get rid of that wobbly bit. Even you must align to the underground grid. So that means it pushes down to here. Potentially, yeah, there. And there. Not there. Alright then. I could go that way instead. Like so. Guess. Can you reach? Not quite. One more. It goes there. There we go. Huh, made it. Don't actually need an underground now. That's so much better, isn't it? You know that one underground in the base? Yep. It's annoying. But that one piece has to remain. What the hell is even that for? Ah, that crap. I really want to say toesable, but thank you for the follow. Toesable. I just looked at it and said toes. I was like, I know that's wrong, but I really want to say it. Thank you for the follow there. Was it TBO sale? T. Oh, now I've done it. You say there's a problem. If you say it wrong once, you're always going to get it wrong from now on. Alright, I'll just move on. Oh, there's the number there, right? 3257. Remember that thing where I wrote down exactly how many each produces and then completely forgot it was a thing? Like that produces 159,000 green circuits per minute, 1,200 per minute, 38,000 gears per minute. It's not a stupid number at all, is it? Okay. Engine unit needs 4,653 pipe, which is 2 lanes of pipe. It needs a belt of steel plate and a belt of iron gear wheels. Fortunately, there's 3 thingies. I need my spreadsheet of belt allocations to tell me where the iron plate comes from. Presumably it comes from the iron plate source. That'll be the belt of gears that it takes. Our next step is the iron plate. That all goes up there. Do they have a specific allocation? No. And that's all copper, I think. I think these are all just non-specific. Like, these can just go anywhere. There's a trouble if you leave it for too long, you forget where everything goes. If you go up there, I might start diverging them and see what happens. Sounds like the kind of plan where nothing could possibly go wrong. Where's the input there? How did that do that? Just doesn't seem right. Oh, because it's off grid, that's why. Worst. There we go. Now, how's about that goes up there and there? Good enough. I don't actually know if this produces enough pipe. It's probably not a good thing. It's 1,000. 2,500. Okay, that works for me. This crazy crap probably won't work though. What I might need to do is cut that off. I think this will need a redesign. And just pull it away a bit, give it more room. More pipe. What did I say it was? It was 2,400, wasn't it? I really can't. No, it's more than that. It's like 3... No, if it's 3,000 engines per minute, it's got to be like 6,000 pipe. 4,000, because of productivity. 4,600, which is almost 4,800. Alright. I really want to pull it back down to like here. Like so. Fortunately, there's enough room to do that. Ah, there's a convenient blueprint. I don't need to obey tiling rules for such a short span. Give it as much room as possible though. You need coverage. Ah, do need one there, one there. Huh, so I do need to go up a little bit. Because I really want this maximizing coverage. I don't know if I want to push it all the way down in there. Yeah, might as well. Just live on the danger zone. Live on the edge. YOLO that thing. There we go. So there and there. Only not actually there. There. Eliminates all those pesky speed modules. Because who want those? Got a lot of pipe in a hurry then. Oh. Should be up by one. Okay. Just drop you. Drop you there, there. What have been the ore patch richness you've been using for the battle? Richest normal, size very big, frequency normal. Which is actually kind of funny, considering how little oil you get and how little coal you get. Let's craft some of those. I want to make sure the craft speed's right. So what's that, 6.875? I might actually be too fast, having said that. How many is it? 4. $8.125. Worst. That's an insane amount of coal. How many hours do you have in this game? Oh, like 3,000 something. Just on Steam. Not counting non-Steam, which is probably another small portion. Do you mean that there's an insane amount of coal too, by chance? Because that coal is just for grenades. I'm getting bored of crafting these things. So that's 8.75, right. So you're probably going to struggle with green circuits then. That's 68 lanes. And yes, it does actually. It maxes out those 68 lanes, nearly. Tiny bit short. Low richness, I thought about that. It does, low richness though does negate the no rush thing. Because I kind of want everyone to build up as much as possible in the no rush. Oh yeah, and there's 64 lanes of iron ore just for the intermediates. There's 112 lanes of iron total. There's some stone, and then the rest, there's 96 lanes of copper. So all of this copper goes into the green circuits here. There's 4 separate builds that come together there. But I see what you're saying though. Yeah, I've been working on this base for a very long time. There's steel. I'm currently in the middle of building double the production it had. In the middle of, but it's leaning towards the end because I'm down to producing the science packs now. Although, as it turns out, I hadn't finished these off. So I'm back here. 8.75. 8.75? Sign the big balancer? No, that was a Reddit one actually that I found. There was only one underground that I found that could have added to it, but other than that, it's quite good. Better than average, really. Normally I'm quite critical of Reddit balancers, but there are exceptions. Now, so one of these machines produces 0.785 pipes a second. That's not ridiculous at all. Oh wait, no. 17.5 pipes a second. AJ213, thank you for the follow there too. Yeah, it's 0.5 a second. Even if I copied a balancer, you know exactly how it works. Yeah, that's true. It's difficult to build balancers of this scale. Like I've got Zenith / Commotion Socks / Need a Better Usernames one. And it's a tough one to bring forward into version 16. Which I could do, but this one just does it better. That's already at the level that I want. I'm not a huge fan of the no separate though. I'd prefer it if it was spaced out into groups. Much like the smaller balancers like the 32 lane here, which has the 4 and then the 4 gap, 4 gap. Which is a better way to do it. You can really pack things down and optimize them with the gap. That's why I like the Madzuri 8 lane. That thing is just like the minimum number of belts you can possibly achieve. Or possibly use to achieve a 8 lane balancer. It's like 10 less than the, or was it 20 less than the Reddit one? The wiki one. I say Reddit, but it's wiki. But at the same time, the wiki one is the Reddit one. This is a combination of everyone's designs. So these 4 produce 4,200 pipe a minute. Oh, that's Deroy levels of pipe. I think I only need 3,000 something. No, I need 4,600. And I get 4,000. Oh, I need more. Right. Missed the spacing? It should be okay, because the beacons don't line up with the assembly machines. Actually need another one. Oh. So what's keeping this thing from making them? Red circuits? Why are you not getting red circuits? Why are you no red circuit? And this is where I've got to play find the red circuit shoveling into the main network. This thing. Which was around here somewhere. Oh dear. Oh, there's a stray copper belt too. That happens to a lot. Oh. That's for mining drills. Apparently. It's another lost belt. That's happened quite a bit. Alright, so you go across, cross. Yeah, why? Oh, I see. I see, it does. It's right below me too. There we go. Eventually it will need to come a bit closer, but there are other stuff here. Put a marker for it. It's funny because I did actually have a marker. I should be using more markers too, just to avoid these stray belts. Do we ever find out where Will went? I think he created a private call. A private group call. The base is so big, it's small mistakes. Yeah, I had a few of those in the other one too. So this needs to come forward to there. Abiders on? They are, yes. Expansion is off, and this, because it's basically like pretty much no pollution right now. I suppose red circuits is doing something. Marginally doing something. Minimally. But yeah, so the biters are out here at the great wall of laser turrets and what you formerly flame turrets as well. And yeah, because it's so far away from the pollution, there's nothing happening at any of the defensive lines, even down there. It's funny, I keep biters here just for the sole purpose of running into this wall. No other reason. These flame turrets do a lot of damage, apparently. It's funny, I was testing flamethrower turrets as PvP and they're completely useless. So I'm going to have to figure out how to change them into rocket turrets or something. Just recycle the graphics. At least as a test. Someone made a zombie mod. Factorio used to have zombies. So what did I want? 4,800. 5? Okay, it's more than enough now. 5,200 is ridiculous. 2.18 belts. Wouldn't be so... Yeah, it's another one of those things where the way they work is more art than function. Okay. You fire out there, and there, and there. Now this is going to get interesting with this one. Can that... Yeah, I had expansion on until a few months ago, actually. It was just... Expansion got to the point where, like, I tried to keep it on just for the sake of it, for consistency, but it reached the point where it was just getting irritating more than anything else. It was just a minor annoyance. Thinking. Intense thinking. Oh, actually... Oh, that doesn't work either. I'm trying to think about how to get these on alternating lanes. Maybe like that. What options do... So Exterminator actually did a video guide, but I probably should do one myself. So wall to the north, keeping the White Walkers out, yeah. So what I might do, I might save it here and just do a quick walk through of what I did. Explain it. I might just tick off the stream overlays while I'm at it. Because I'll record it, and I might upload it as well. For next battle shooting, that's actually the hope, is that we get some randoms going. Okay, so I'm going to drop out of this for a second. So, just grab a quick drink. The PvP map is under scenarios, which we all know now. So this one will be a little bit different because this version that I have will come with 1616. So what I did for the current map was I changed all of these to very big, so very big iron, very big copper, if it wants to click. Stone, I kept it medium just to get rid of the concrete cheese. And coal it very big just to make sure they actually get starting patches. Crude oil is also very big. To try and get some patches going. Everyone says NG should join. Next thing is terrain settings. Starting area, you can the map changes it. So if I say very big, you can actually change it in the scenario. Now, to balance out people starting in desert, I set it to none. The thing with desert though is that turning off desert on its own isn't enough. You need to turn off sand and dirt as well. And so now you'll only get grass and dirt. As far as enemy bases go, it was very low, very big, and very good. But at the same time, it's probably fine just to turn it off completely. So you could also, in the future, I'll probably just set it to none. Now, the other thing is I turned off expansion. And then kept evolution on, but dropped out destroy factor and pollution factor here. And then I turned up the time factor to, I think, about there. So about there. And that should have, by the end of the game, given you, by the end of 4 hours, given you big biters. But if they're being turned off, then that's fine. But that way, if one team is destroying biters, it doesn't kill off another team. It means everyone gets the same biters at the same rate. So if I generate preview, you can see there's a bit of dirt there. And this is generally what it'll look like around spawns. So if I hit play here, and so this is the admin panel. So remember how I said that you change the size here, starting area size? This is the same setting here. So if you set it to normal, you can then just reset it to very big or whatever. It does matter. So the other thing I did, the last map was 4,000. And the map size was actually limited to only 20,000 in every direction. Or total size of 20,000. Just to try and keep the map size down. So one of the new features that's coming is this duplicate starting areas, which means that everyone gets the same starting spawn. Like that. And the other one that is also coming is allow spectators. There. Another thing that is coming in this combat balance is artilleries being added. I actually have that version, but I haven't copied it into the directory yet. So these are bonus modifiers that are applied to the bonus button. So if you say walking speed of 0.5, that is a 50% bonus to walking speed. It doesn't reduce your walking speed by 50%. That's a very important thing to keep in mind with these. I haven't tested it, but I wanted to see what happens if you put a negative number in. I have a feeling it might crash or something. As well as that, so you can add teams as you want. These removes it. This sets out alliances, so if you want 2v2, what combatants? Yeah, so if I want 2v2, I'd just say 1, 1, 2 and 2, and then you would have 2v2. Negative damage lace. Talk about combat balance. What combat options do you disable any items? So, my preference is to disable nuclear weapons. So we go disabled item. Oh right, I complained to Clonin about this. The button doesn't work. Which is fixed in later versions. But a disabled nuke. When you press that button, it would normally bring up the item window of all the items, like the crafting window. Bring up the crafting window of like all the normal items, and you would just pick them. So the next thing is share chart data. So when you set your team to status to ally, you share chart data with that allied team. So with this ticked, team 3 and 4 will be able to see what each other sees. And spectators will be able to see also on that extension all of what that sees. This team stuff can be changed in-game with the diplomatic privilege thing, which is normally set to team leader. Auto assign and random automatically just assign you to it. I think random just automatically just plucks a team at random and puts you in there. Auto assign automatically balances in the order. I think it alternates in the order that people join. Normally that's on player pick's team. I haven't even played with that yet. It sounds dumb. Now, no rush duration. That was the thing that was set to 60 minutes before. Blueprints will be changing. I can show you that next too. I'm all about disabling them. Oh yeah, you can also you can forcefully disable biters here if you had them on in the generator settings, so that's not an issue. Always day too, maybe people are into that, but it does seriously change how it changes how solar works, because suddenly when you're always day, solar is always producing maximum. You don't need accumulators anymore, and that changes everything. Now, so starting research level is something that I want to play with. You can start at any science tech level you desire. So currently we've been starting at none, so you have to do all research. You can start with all red tech unlocked, or red and green tech unlocked, red, green, blue unlocked, red, green, blue military, production high tech. Space science is the first of the infinite researches. I actually tested that. So in theory, if you wanted to do away with research, you say high tech. So this tech here unlocks the damage upgrades. So this won't unlock damage upgrades on their own. An option disabled blueprints. So the option disabled blueprints is actually in the map, and I'll have to show you that because it's in a permission thing. When we get the rules down such, everyone should get more community. Yeah, we need to solidify a standard set of rules. As far as this last bit goes, so starting equipment. So small means you start with, so none. Starting equipment means you start with a standard 8 iron plate and 8, the burner mining drill and the stone furnace. Small means you now start with 16 burner mining drills, some stone furnaces, assembly machines, some belts and such. And then medium, you start having even more stuff, so you start having oil refineries, chemical plants when you spawn, as well as steam engines and everything else below that. More belts. Large, you start with assembly machines 1, 2, 3. I think you even start with a tank. Let's check. And then on top of that, starting inventory none means you just start with the pistol and then respawn with nothing. Small, you start with a iron axe, heavy armor, iron axe, heavy armor, a machine gun with ammo and a shotgun. Medium means you start with a modular armor, machine gun, shotgun, rocket launcher, and ammo for each. You also start with those on respawn. So every time you die and respawn, you respawn with that machine gun, shotgun, rocket launcher, modular armor. And then large gives you a power armor Mark 1, the guns again, but the power armor Mark 1 then has a fusion reactor, legs, shields, and a robot port. And then you get 10 construction bots, not logistics bots. So if I set those both to large, I can show you what I mean. I'll just hit start. And you also start with, because this was written before 15, you start with 2 blueprints and a deconstruction planner, because you used to have to craft those back in before 15, before you could open up the blueprint. But that in itself isn't a bad thing. I think it was kept in there because you can turn off blueprinting. So I'll just pick a team. There we go. So this is all the stuff you start with. You can see the shields charging, with big inventory, big starting. So there's a 10 bots. Okay, it was only a car. 50 burner mining drills. And there's a oh sorry, it was 3 blueprints, not 2. But yeah, pump jacks, everything to get going. And there's power armor, 2 shields, roboport, and legs. As far as research goes, so you see I've got everything unlocked at up to high-tech level, so you even have atomic weaponry. But see, none of the combat damages are done. And then what you can do is permissions. In here, so this is default. Everyone gets assigned to default. And if we go edit, and we do a search for or before that, we'll do it a research. So we untick cancel research, set research, and start research. If we back out of that, now if I go here, I can't even start research. I press the button, nothing happens. So that negates the entire research. I'll answer questions in a minute while I finish waffling on. So the next thing, before I do that, so blueprints. So I press B or the button up here, import strings and all that. So we go back to here again. So under blueprint, we now need, let's go through this, export blueprint, we don't want people doing that. Import blueprint, we don't want that. Import blueprint string, for some reason they're different. Open blueprint library GUI, so the ability to press that button. Open blueprint record as editing, set up blueprint, they're all fine. And so now, if I press B, nothing happens. Press the button, nothing happens. Now I cannot even interface with the blueprints, and that's why giving these is important, because you can't open that, you can't get blueprints anymore. Alright. Let's start from the top. So last thing I saw was Nika start at space science, so you're just building. That's what I want, Spellmaster. Auntie made a good point by importing a blueprint base print yesterday's battle, just shows you need things tweaked. Auntie imported the blueprint, but I don't think it in any way gave him a boost, because they would have just used a picture. Hey Kotanuki, how's it going? Modular armor with bots. Can you change starting equipment depending on team size? Not directly. So if you have a team of 2 and then a team of 4, the team of 4 will have a huge advantage with all this extra equipment, because they'll have twice as much as the team of 2. Because the team of 2 will have 10 oil refineries, 20 pump jacks, say, and then a team of 4 will have 40 and 20 oil refineries. Anyone under that time period won't stand much chance. Teams waves. No blueprint hurt newish players. I think no blueprint hurts. That's the best way to put it. it clinicalizes. It turns it into like an F1 race, where it's down to where it becomes very clinical, very sterile, because everything's pre-calculated out, predetermined, and it becomes just going through the motions, and the winner is determined by whoever screws up the least. I always heard the term clinical, and I think that's appropriate once you calculate everything down to such a small margin. No rush. It means you cannot leave these walls. You can actually technically leave the walls, but because the walls sit in the middle of the chunk boundary, I might have to go over there just to have a look. As soon as I can find it. It's not it. If I can find it. I guess not. There we go. Oh, that just to move a bit faster. So if I, what was it, shift space I think? See, it's in the middle of the chunk boundary, so if I go over that boundary, then it will teleport me back. Whee! See, it's not telling me off until I hit there. See, that boundary right there. And so that's where the no rush period boundary is. And there it is again. So that's why you can run a little bit outside. I should be able to open the problem with opening the GUI, I might actually ask if they can be more granulated, because if you can open the GUI, you can import from your personal blueprint library, the window that's on the right hand side. Because I already tested this. The only way to fully stop blueprints from being imported is to disable the entire GUI. Yeah, it's chunk restricted. Because it draws these in the center. What I want to do is do away with the house rule of no full PvP in bases until like the last period of time, and just have PvP start as soon as no rush expires. Like, it's just a free-for-all. And that's why I want to do away with tech as well, because I want to lessen the impact of being attacked. The GUI disabled for the tutorials is basically the same thing. So it actually disables the buttons and such. Now. Anyone in that time period won't stand much of a chance against teams we have already... I really need to show you that. I need to get up the video of what I was seeing when they were starting out. It's just insanity how fast that Anti and such got their base going. I'm trying to think what else is going on here. So there's the spawn in the center. The other thing. So the other thing is. Oh, hey, Rain. The other thing is it spawns bases around this central point here. So there's two teams, and so then they're at opposing corners. And then once you add a third, it'll add 3 at the equal spacing. Fourth means you'll have it like that. And then as you add more teams, it'll add them. It'll start forming more points of a circle around the center of the same distance. So, in answer to the question, the way around that is either to give blueprints and deconstruction planner from the start and from respawn. Alternatively, have something that permanently dispenses them, or modify the game so that importing blueprints, or there's another restriction on the blueprint library that stops you from importing blueprints from your personal blueprint library, because currently that's not blocked. and it's not possible to block it. I bet if I post a message to Seeding or Clone and they'll say that's supposed to do this permission's supposed to do that, and it turns out it just doesn't actually work because it's blueprint library. Just go by the honor rule. Yeah, but more PBI yes. More GUI changes by cloning. Click 4x. More work. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I haven't covered with this map already. Apart from, like, when you die, you always respawn with this crap. Rocket launchers are reasonably devastating too. Oh yeah, in question... in answer to the question about artillery guns, artillery are actually kind of useless without the artillery remote. So without the artillery remote, they will shoot turrets and radars only. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buildings they will actually shoot without the targeting flare, which is actually kind of interesting. It used to be called artillery flare, targeting flare, or artillery, whatever it was called. I don't know. That was what our seeding called it, and then they changed it. It's a funny story, kind of. The new mods really pulled out bugs that you didn't know was a thing. Really? Admittedly, that has been. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You have such a huge potential to do a lot on YouTube with experience. I know, I need to get onto it. I'm actually thinking, so why I switched out of the other game was to actually record this separately. What what NG says is exactly what I want. No more dodgy house rules. Which is, PV, no leaving the area, then no attacking directly until like the last. Just make it a 2-hour match. What's it actually set to? Oh, is that? Actually, it just end round there. This will go away after 3 minutes or so. It'll reset the round. Just actually want production score. Yeah, 2-hour match, and half of that time is no rush. That's exactly what I want. It's a PvP map, include PvP. The whole thing with Shrek Guy, if you make PvP happen early, you can spit the speedrunners. Anti and those guys reacted to the PvP very well. That personal laser defense really kicks the ass at tanks. Like, it destroys them. But at the same time, you need Mark II shields to defend against tanks. Clinical mode, casual mode, production mode, war mode. And yeah, so these areas should be identical. The terrain, the underlying terrain won't be the same. See, the water's different, but the actual patches are the same. And you actually see there's a boundary there where it was overwritten. That patch was overwritten. There might be one down here too. Sometimes you see patches chopped off. I saw that. They were using Mark I shields. More tick boxes. There's only so much you can add to the game, to the scenario, before it just becomes very cumbersome, and it's already getting to that point. Standardizing PvP for others. Yeah, you're right there. Complete comprehensive guidance through different ways you can set up the game would be great. I think that would be better in text instead of a video. Hey, Raquel. 87. So what do we got here? Oh yeah, and the crash on the diplomacy screen's fixed too in the next version. So yeah. It's very different now that the rocket launchers don't pay out. First 2 hours. The first 2 hours were fantastic. And then in the third hour it started slowing down. The fourth hour was a waste of time. All of this isn't new in a way, because this map has existed in some form since version 11, version 12. I think I mentioned before I have the original. It's just that this is much more fleshed out than the original, and we're still still improving. The other one here is oil harvest, where you have to achieve an oil barrel goal within the time limit. And this one also behaves much like the production score. Yeah, this is new to a lot of people. Just because it's the PvP map was slipped in with 16, and not a lot of people realised it was there. As I say, the only reason I knew it was there was because I saw Clonan working on it in early October. I think it was. Space races, yeah. Like Conquest Space Race, Last Silo Standing, they're just first to rocket wins. Should clone and remove the silo. Really? Let's start. Huh. I didn't know it actually did. I thought it didn't. Or am I remembering? Oh no, it does too, doesn't it? Oh yeah, I was going to ask him about if the space race does like a first, second, third, fourth. Because it would be nice if you were doing competitive space races, you got to see the total times of everyone. Because that would be really cool, instead of just whoever wins. So you do. Yeah, I bet it just uses the same thing. The same code. It's a lot of iron. You must spread the Factorio to everyone. You must. Yeah, and this is the thing that Clonan warned about, was that if it gets pasted over... there is a risk that the patches will get pasted over water like that. Fortunately, it didn't happen in the main game, but it can happen. There's a pretty decent patch of coal there too. No oil. No oil for anyone. One of them. At least I got stone this time. Spawn on water. Wow. Oh. Ooh. Huh. Just grab the snipping tool. Save that. Yeah, I'll have to send that off. That's a funny one. Yeah, I'll make it a bug report after. I think I've covered everything with the... Yeah, it's my typical naming convention. AAA, BBB, CCC. As you can see, these are all my 16 games. A, B, B2, B2 and 2, B3. That was a very early one. You can actually see I do it a lot. Even there's my first ever save game. No, that's the first ever save game. I actually cleaned them out, so I called it AAA. That is the first ever save game where I pushed it through version 14 so I could actually load it. I think this may actually be a different save. There's a very, yeah, and so it goes on. I'm actually curious now. Nope, that's bad. Was that oh, yeah, it's one of those. So there's a whole lot of 14 games which just crash. There it is. Okay. Back to this thing. Oh, I'm still working on the Unity game. It's 14 when so they only keep compatibility with the past 3 versions. So now the game won't, so 16 won't load anything before 13, 15 won't load anything before 12, 14 won't load anything before 11, and so on. Next time skip red, so yeah. Why is everyone pushing to make so hard? Just because it's interesting. I don't want just a simple parallel race for Rocket or... the risk of the current direction is it basically just becomes another version of the Team Supply Challenge. And people want to see PvP because, as Angie says, because it's never been a thing, really. Never been a thing before. Now... Shred's very pro. Yeah, and that's where doing the balance comes in. So, balancing out the combat so that one team just doesn't destroy another. And potentially protect its spawns. Problem is you need like 27 mines to defeat a tank. And if a tank has cannon shells, it outranges everything. But then at the same time, if you fix that tanks outranging laser turrets with laser turrets that can match the range of a tank, then the tank can't defeat a huge wall of laser turrets. It's just, yeah, the headaches just keep spinning. So you go there. I know. There. It's too bad about that thing. Real problem is there's a thought. Making it more of a... Do you remember the game... Has anyone ever played the game Netstorm? So make it a game like that. Okay, so that's converged on that lane. Just thinking. Thinking. There. Destroyer bots, yeah. Destroyer bots are. Defender bots and distractor bots are not, and distractor bots are very devastating. This can go there. And then side load onto there. How far? There. Oh. I can put that there. I'll just swap the sides of these again. I'm just thinking about pipes again. It's ridiculous. Where's DeRoy? He'd like this, wouldn't he? He likes pipes. Uh... Yeah, the thing with the electrical network is the worst, I think. That's the worst aspect to it. Which I'm sure you've seen, where you can use the enemy's electric network. That's been an ongoing issue since forever. I can't actually remember how long now. Don't care about the military PvP. I think you need a little bit of military, but you need to make it. You need to give enough time so that people can adequately prepare. But the trouble is, there's only a certain number of strategies you can use in Factorio, and that's one of the limitations of it. Hoping all this stuff gets fixed once it's summer. I think definitely by then something will be sorted out. How come Shred Guy likes this music? This is his playlist. I don't like where this is going with these pipes. Yeah, power is, as it stands, at least, fortunately, the thing about power is the only exploit that's left. And this has got a lot of attention from the developers too. They're very keen to work on it. I'm just sort of shoving it all on one side. Isn't necessarily a good thing. Kinda... Need that there, and that goes that way to there. Actually, I'll make that gears and steel. Ugh. That's one hell of a QA stress test. It was. There was a lot of unknowns going on in that map. There. Huh. Stupid underground grid, it's ruining me now. I have to move all this out of the way. All speedrunners must... It's actually funny that it got Exterminator keen on speedrunning. Speedrunning it's okay, but I'd do speedrunning more, but it just doesn't hold my interest. Where was that? Oh, there. Was there. So I'm just headaching out this right now. Okay. Boxing with a mouse in your hand. Guitar Hero controller. The space is immense. It's pretty substantial. Hey, I'm getting some pollution over here. Has Rain actually seen my green circuits? I like showing off my green circuits. My rocket ship of green circuits. Blind guy playing a Mario. Yeah, it'd have to be something simple. I like the title of the stream. Yeah, well, I call this base the more stupid. So the previous one was more faster, and this one's more stupid. Because it's just a stupid amount of build. I just wish I could come up with witty stream titles all the time. Most of them are pretty dumb. I just realised. 4 belts and call my thing a mega base. Yeah, you're gonna need a few more builds. I don't even know if this can actually produce the engines fast enough. There's the small angels, Bob. There's reasons for that, and there's actually a whole philosophical discussion about that I don't really want to get into, because I know that there's things that can and can't. This isn't possible that this base does in Angels and Bobs. A SpaceX production battle would be interesting. First to FTL. Could look into it. Oh wait, that's electric engines. So gears and steel, gears and steel. Gears and steel. Gears and steel. Steel and gears. There you go, and started on Bob's. Yeah, now what you look at it. Now what you look at, you're done. Huh. I just realised that this is going to be a right pain in the sphinctal cavity. Well, this is annoying. Someone made a pipe painting? I think so. Ah, crap. I need that there. Angel hangs around Nearless, Shred Guy, and a few others pretty frequently. Yeah, Factorio sends the entire... Factorio is actually, I think, very inefficient with how it transmits. I've been told otherwise, but I'm inclined to... My opinion stands. I'm inclined to say it's inefficient. Got nearly half a belt of consistent gold. I like the idea of the challenge. The problem is I don't like real slow grinding out. I don't know why that's become a popular thing. It's not fun. Otherwise, as I say, conceptually, C-block is a good idea. It's just the details. I was just thinking maybe I could drop this to red belt, but no, I can't. Can't do that either. Let's turn to the trusty spreadsheet. So we are 5.5. Our craft time is 10. Our productivity is 1.4. How many do we have here? I've forgotten. $16. No, our craft speed is not 5.5, it's 8. And 16 machines, so it's 1,075 per minute. Huh, it does have 768 input. So I could use a red belt on the input. It's pushing the limits of a red belt. I prefer to have pressure on the red belt. Like, or any feeding belt really. I like to have back pressure on it. Hey, yes, honey bunny, how's it going? Yeah, I like having pressure on it. I don't like min-maxing belts. It generally doesn't go well. Because it relies on very specific, very perfect circumstances for it to work. Like if you set up this engine build on with the red belt and all that, just perfect, with creative spawning in items on the belts, it'll work fine, but then you put it in an actual base and it won't work. It's just the way it goes. Because you start having external influences, which the creative mode stuff can't allow for or compensate for. I'm going to move this over. Hopefully this will reduce that to 1. It should reduce this one to 1. And I can probably do that. And fill my inventory up with pipe again. A la Sweden. How badly did the non-compression? It was almost a non-issue. Almost. It affected red circuits and smelting the most. Everything else is pretty much fine. But I knew about the compression thing in September, so I got a head start. Oh yeah, that can move now. It's not ideal, and kinda ugly, but eh. All you need to do is just split smelter outputs into 2 smaller outputs and then merge them together, and that pretty much fixes it. It's not really that big of a deal. If your designs are well thought out and robust enough, you shouldn't run into problems. But if you rely on a lot of tricks, side loading wise, and with the undergrounds, then you're going to run into problems. But I don't do that. Like, if you look at my builds, they all are fairly uniform. Like, they have a fairly standard design. It does rely a little bit on the output, but it doesn't entirely depend on it. Like, these output at half and then merge back onto the other half, but it never filled the belt. I think green was the most marginal because it relied on it the most. And I always rounded up the belt supplies, like 4 belts into a grenade build that realistically only needs like a bit over 3. I think you can get away with 3, but 3 is so marginal. You want to make sure you're getting it right to the end, so you put a bit of pressure on it. And it's the same with everything here. None of these, I think gears is a little bit marginal as well. It'll need work. Because this was actually built before, might be okay. We'll see. Oh, hang on. Franklin Ace, thank you for the host there. Let me push that button, because that thing up there wasn't working. No trains on this map? Yeah, there are trains. Where is the thing? There it is. Hey, there it is. Thank you for the host there. Franklin's Ace. Just finished Dream with Big Wick. Got a crash? That's alright. But thank you for the host anyway. And Big Wick! How's the big man himself going? And thank you for the host there. Now, where was I? Oh, reading chat. So, let me zoom out. There's the trains. There's the unloads. For the smelters, copper. They're all 282s. There's stone in there, and there's iron. All of iron, and there's iron for steel. Here's the trains. So the outpost mining is grouped up into... So there's 15 outposts, grouped up into lots of 4. Wire loading, side load... reasons that I'll get into in just a minute, if you which I'll explain if you just bear with me. So I was just explaining the trains. So each outpost is grouped up into trains of 4. So this is Iron Hold 15, these 4 stops in this group, and has 4 trains specifically for Iron 15. And we go along here. This next group of 4 is for Iron 14. And it goes on and on and on, all the way down to Iron 1. And then it's the same for copper and stone. Stone only has 5 though. So 4 by 15 is 90. 4 15 is another 90, so 180. And then 4 by 5 is 20. So that's 200. Supposed to be 200. You actually see I'm missing a few trains. It's supposed to be 200 ore trains. Oh, there's a few up there actually. And then I've got the auxiliary trains, like there's the gold trains, which is a work in progress. Hey, Dark Helmet. Need the proper avatar. I thought about changing it to a black background. I also thought about seeing how long I can go without changing it, but at the same time, shouldn't do that because it looks kind of dodgy. How hard did the wagon nerf hit? Not that bad actually. It just lubricant train on the other hand does need to be bigger. Acid train does need to be a bit bigger, and I do need more of them. Other than that, not a huge deal. I need to rebuild oil anyway. This is only good enough for half the base. This is a standard design I use. This is starting to get off on a real big tangent too. Actually, the oil would affect this quite dramatically. So the trains, the way the oil works is trains go into a single module and it produces, all it does is produce lubricant and petroleum gas as the output. And that gets fed into acid and plastic up here. And then over here is another build which just produces, so one crude oil unload then turns all that crude into rocket fuel. And this is a very smart move because it means oil is self-contained. It's a tiny bit, you lose a tiny bit of inefficiency by not turning the all the light oil over here into rocket fuel, but at the same time it eliminates the need for any kinds of logic. So this doesn't need any circuit logic at all. I have some for load balancing the trains, but that's, you can get away without it. It just means that yeah, you can, with this build, there's no circuit network required for oil. Now, Coblada. Thank you for the follow. Moving swiftly along. The side loading of batteries is different because this one is the original, this one here, and this is the updated one. Tan Banana, I have a mega base in 14 and started over in 16. Seems to have been a huge nerf in the amount of oil patches and ammo. And the amount in the base game. Really? There should be tons more than 14. This is a modified version of RSO 148 that I originally generated this on back in version 12. So this is what I see on this map is an absolutely absurd amount of oil for version 12. Like, this is just beyond ridiculous, the oil patches on this map. Using pumps at the rocket fuel station? Yeah. Or do you mean here? Because there's no pumps internally. There's actually not much in the way of refineries. I can mention it, but I think they already are aware of it. Huh. It currently still holds the original maximum that they had, so they still have the 75k, even though that's the 25k. Other than the unloading, so there are pumps on the output, like here, just to help boost the volume of petroleum gas going through, because this many thingies produces a lot of pressure. Oh yeah, I do actually have some smarts here, just to control the lubricant. But as I say, it's optional. Yeah, so there's periodic pumps, as well as there's pumps to do the 1 from 4 on the outputs. Yeah, the generation in 16 is all over the place. Having said that, like, I have this patch here is 5587, which is ridiculously low because it was affected by, like, all these, they were affected by a bug. 274, these are way lower than they should be. They're affected by a bug in version 13. So that's why I've built over the top of like an entire oil patch here. This whole cluster is only worth 67. Over here is only 122 for this many patches. Yeah, 810 hours, approaching 811 as of this stream. Yes, that's why I just built over the top of this. I just demolished it because 67% is worthless. Similar story up here, 920% is worthless. Although I don't think these... yeah, these actually are stable. These are proper minimums, unlike later ones. So if I go over to one of these, I actually put efficiency modules in these just to keep the power consumption down. See the not that one. Oh no, yeah, 0.2. So that's the problem. So these are 1/10 of what they should be. So that's 0.2 instead of where's a good one? Good one's up here. So these, see, this is 2. That's the minimum it should be, not 0.2. This map is 2 years old, or approaching 2 years old. Cripples red circuit production. Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. How much oil you need. You might need to turn the size, keep the richness the same, turn the size of the patches up, frequency down. Frequency down, lower frequency increases the size of the patches. Increasing the frequency decreases the size of the patches. It's kind of counterintuitive. With it, unless you have a really sound understanding of what is going on. So the frequency is changing the base frequency of the... I need to do this visually, but it's really hard to describe otherwise. So the frequency is changing the base noise frequency that it generates. Size changes the amplitude of where it determines whether to spawn the patch or not. So if you turn the frequency up, you get the peaks slim down, they get narrower. If that makes sense. Whereas if you turn the frequency down, the width of the noise gets wider, and that in turn makes the patches bigger. If, as I say, that makes any sense at all. But that's something to experiment with, is to turn the frequency down and the size up, keep richness the same. Keep it at normal. Had to go just to go review some of the old saves and see what I can do to them. The most interesting is a lot of dead mods. Yes, you do need to finish that space station first. Destroyed a 250R map to file corruption. That's probably a hard drive or power supply related thing, or a fundamental computer hardware problem you might want to check out. Okay. So, in a dramatic depart from tradition, I might actually try and do something. And another one of these. But yeah, so... yeah, I've lost maps by accidentally saving over them too. Yeah, so the frequency is describing the frequency of a wave, not the frequency of an occurrence. As I say, unfortunately, I don't have a way that I can easily draw it. What I'm going to do is that, because that is adequate. And that's why RSO generally works out better, is because it changes it. It fundamentally changes it back to the frequency of an occurrence, rather than just the frequency of a wave. A few people have mentioned to me too that it might, they call it parallel noise, but apparently it might actually be simplex noise, I think it was. Called, which is basically a variation on parallel noise, which a lot of games use. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of a parallel noise approach. Parallel noise is a very academic way of doing it. A very sort of a student way of doing it, really. It's like a student academic exercise, like a programming exercise. Holy is the underground grid. Praise the underground grid. Here comes the gears. So what this will do is balance out the sides. One hopes. Just thinking. Back with more coffee? Wonderful. So there's 2400 gears going in. Okay, it does have a few functions. From memory, I haven't checked recently, but they were a little wonky. I think it's just eating gears. So this is 1200. That's a problem. Wait a minute. This needs some more further thinking. This might be idiotic, or it might work. And if it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid, as they say. I think it's fine. Build up stride again? What do you mean? That's nothing to do with build optimizations. Steel is the next problem that I should address. Or that as well. There's a lot of problems I need to address, but I need to prioritize some over others. And others again, I need to pretend they don't exist. For reasons. Reasons of laziness. If it's stupid and it works, it's still stupid. Fine. Now, did I update any of these before I go crazy? Start doing things that I'll later regret. No. Okay. Now I've got to find the midpoint. Stupid it works as belt sorters. They're very likely to be broken. Belt sorters and belt memory is very likely to be eliminated entirely. There was a lot of shouting when I got up this morning in a Discord. It's 31. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. 62. Where did I leave my decon planner? You go there. I'm just going to triple verify. I always really make sure I get this right, this sort of thing right, because I don't want to screw it up. It's a 30. Okay. Splitters have this memory thing where they remember where they sent the last item. The thing is, okay, so the belt memory thing is a splitter remembers where the last item was sent. So if you send a split lane of if you have half a belt of iron and the other side with copper on it, the memory feature means that the copper will keep going where the copper goes and the iron will keep going where the iron goes because of the memory function. The downside to it is it, well, consumes memory to exist. Okay, I'm gonna... hang on. Did I actually bring... I think I might have pre-prepared this, come to think of it. What are you? You're not what I'm after. I think I just pulled that out of the book too. Okay, that's a smelter. Uh-oh. Well, now I've done it. Now I can't find that book. It was... Roomba wanted something on top of it and it kind of broke the memory thing. It made it unpredictable, I think, from what I recall. I actually can't remember anymore. But yeah, it was something a Roomba wanted. Something, and it was something dumb, mind you. What the hell is this even for? I genuinely don't know where that book went. God, damn it all. It's not that one, that's the original one. Oh no, that is the one. That's a circuit thing I've been playing around with. Alright, time for a little adventure. Oh, hello Shred Guy. Did I say a Roomba is dumb? Not at all. Okay. Wakey wakey. Hands off Snaky. Just gonna keep pressing F7 until something happens. So what does Shred Guy think, while this is thinking, about having the PvP match 2 hours long instead of 4 hours, because 4 hours is a retardedly long amount of time, and then for 60 minutes, or half of that time, have the no rush period, and then it's just a free-for-all after that 60-minute free is expired. There we go. There's all the experiments. What do I want? I want... not that one. I think this one. Or did I accidentally lose my test run again? Roomba did play fairly recently. That's not it. Dang it. What did I do with it? What did I do with it? Or did I think I might have overwritten it. That's really annoying if I did. Trees? So what did I do with all these saves? Honestly. There's a lot of chat going on and I'm not keeping up. So the consensus is Roomba is dumb. That's what I'm gathering. It seems to be the consensus. 2 hours, then no restriction on PvP. Yeah, none of that stupid, nothing for the first 30 minutes wishy-washy crap. 2 hours is a good build-up time, yeah. The other thing I'm thinking is you just start with all tech unlocked. And there's no research at all. That's something I really want to try out. And then you still start with your 8 iron plate and burner mining drill. Even though you have all the tech unlocked, you can't just craft, like, that burner mining drill is not going to give you an assembly machine 3 or a tank. You still got to do all the motions, just without the research. And you actually have to strategize, because there's going to be some twat that's going to go straight for that Power Armor Mark II, because it's there, and he's going to want it. Unfortunately, he doesn't realize that he needs that 900 green circus to make it. Another one, yeah, ONG's right there too. That oil map would be cool, but it's not worked for me. Now, the thing that I was trying to do was try and find the thing with the thing where I fixed the thing. Only I can't find it anywhere. It could be this one. I have no idea. The more you get it being, the shorter. Yeah, I think tuning the time, like even 2 hours might be a bit long if you start with everything unlocked and no science. This is actually the old base. Aha! This is it. So this is the smelting design that I replaced. I got rid of all of the medium power poles and replaced them with... oh, this is only a partial one. I had some red belt weaving going on as well. But I got rid of the medium power poles. Does this have the upgraded? No. Yeah, it's an earlier version. Alright, so what I want is a blueprint of this. It's unfortunate, Shred, you weren't here earlier when I was going through the PvP map because I was showing how to disable blueprints and such. The catch is currently if you want to disable blueprints, you have to disable the entire blueprint GUI, which means you can't get deconstruction planners and blueprints, or fresh blueprints. So you either have to spawn with them, or just no blueprints at all. Speaking of... I think this has got the new features. Yeah, there it is, artillery shell. An artillery shell that was recently added. Okay, I can actually show you here. So the research level is high tech. As long as this box isn't ticked, you don't get any combat boosts. And then you go disabled items, and in here you say no artillery targeting, no nukes because these things are just crazy powerful. They're good at stomping biters, not PvP. Get rid of labs. Get rid of the packs. Like so. I don't know about... Well, technically you can't craft packs space packs anyway. I think that was it. Save that. Small starting inventory as well. Maybe medium. Start with a medium. I think you start with a car in the medium. Yeah, artillery only targets radars and turrets. It won't target anything else without the targeting flare. Oh yeah, I'm still named Colonel Will in this. That was how I cheated. Oh, I pressed the wrong starting thing. So yeah, this is how... let's try that again. Because on the PvP map, I always appear as a spectator. I can't actually do anything, so I had to cheese as another player to actually get into the game. Okay, so... Oh, so this is what you start with, and you always spawn with this. Really? Of all the spawns, that's the first time that's happened too. Yeah, so you still start with your burner mining drill and 8 iron plate, but everything's unlocked. No labs, no packs. Winning. But you start with a empty modular armor, 3 steel axes, empty modular armor, and some guns and ammo. And every time you respawn with these items. Processor Reddit bug, yeah, I'm sure that'll go well. And actually set the settings. But yeah, so everything's there, but you still have to do all the build-up. So you still have to do your burner stage, but it's a lot more compressed because you don't have to worry about doing research. It's all there. You just got to be smart about it because you can't just make fast inserters or stack inserters. Or stack inserters especially because you need the red circuits, but some idiot inevitably is going to try and craft these things before you have the infrastructure to actually craft them. Because these, those 2 circuits, well 3 actually if you count these, it becomes not trivial to make, and really slows you down. Hey Ken. Noticed a lot of island spawns? Oh, don't start on the island spawns. I've complained about that so many times. Enough to dry it over. Not if the no rush is enabled. Which I didn't actually enable. So 120, or it could be 90. No rush of 60. So this time hopefully I won't start on a little patch of dirt in an ocean. So with a no rush on, well not only that, we have to fuel the thing, which isn't bad in itself. I'd actually try driving a car outside. I wonder what happens. I wonder what happens. That didn't happen. Oh, need another bug report. Alright. Snipple time. Well, if you get out, you're in trouble. 4-hour production run PvP after 2 hours. Minimal resources in starting area. Less resources in starting area. Increase the no rush. Oh yeah, that's another one. I'd go for that. Alright, let me just... I'm gonna have to deal with the other one. Oh, that's a string. Win Shift S. I always forget that, but I'm always so quick with the snip anyway. By the window key and then snip. No, not that. There we go. It's not what I wanted. There it is. Don't see many windows open. There we go. Control Shift Tab. Oh yeah, I was going to show you. So this is what. So with the purple, the high tech unlocked, you don't get any damage upgrades at all. And I think the way to deal with it next is permissions. So this is for anyone who didn't see it before. Whoops, don't want to do that. So get rid of research, start research, get rid of that. Set research is finished, game, whatever that means. So now, I can't even start research. Even though there's no labs and packs anyway. Oh yeah, it's dead right there, Shred Guy. PvP Battle Royale is the thing, and that's what we need to see. The only thing is, this character here doesn't like PvP. And so it just wants production. The problem is production's boring. It's dead boring. It's like the production battles that we've done, it's basic, we're already at the point where it's boring. Disable opening the tech lab. Well, you can't even craft a lab. Or packs. So that really really kills it. The other thing is B for blueprints. And up there, if I do this, edit, we spell blueprints correctly, so the only way to stop it is open blueprint GUI. I can actually show anyone otherwise. Import blueprint string, and then close that. If I open the library again, see, I am still perfectly capable of importing it from the library. The only way to do it is blue. Disable the GUI itself. So now I can't press B, and I can't press the button. You're, again, dead right. So, 2 hours in, you know something's coming for you. I'm all about it. Because, like, when you started going out, it was pretty damn entertaining. And when you were hitting anti-elites and anti was fighting back, it was entertaining. You can spawn in with blueprints and decons. The no blueprints thing is to stop people planning out entire bases beforehand. But yeah, the most entertaining was when you were out in the tank. And Colonel Will was screaming. As soon as you appeared in Colonel Will's base, he was on the Discord message screaming at me to make him stop and ban them and all this. But like, I ain't doing that. to stop you. It's to stop people bringing in entire bases, as I say. And to Anti's credit, it's inconsequential to someone like Anti and his team, but it stops it from becoming too clinical. Also, this version of the scenario, it's been fixed. There we go. There. Yeah, it's just to stop imported blueprints. This thing's all skew if because it's got like half an hour, 45 minutes of production to account for, so it'll settle down after a minute. You wish setting up any map you could disable it. That would make a lot of sense. Interested in the rocket point changer. So if you launch a rocket without a satellite, you get negative 3 million points. KOS might field a team. That would be cool. I want to see more teams. I want to see more Battle Royale stuff going on. I don't want this burrowing down in a generous start area. One of the other directions that they're talking about is running separate instances in parallel, running like 200-hour maps or something retarded like that, and then syncing the battle scores between those games to save on UPS. It just sounds like a headache. Now, why? Oh yeah, processing units. Oh, that railroad was fantastic. See, the points have settled down now, and see Steel Axes, even though their base technically still running, they're not getting the points they used to. At best, they'll get up to like 600,000 now. I'm gonna have to do... where is it? There it is. This was actually stuff that I was doing before streaming as well. Who am I playing as? Wrong person. There we go. Please do the thing. Okay, I'm the right team now. See, my colour's now yellow, so I'm Team Steel Axe again. Yeah, this is Anti's body. Let's develop a standard map seed. The standard map seeds... Oh yeah, you can enter in a map seed actually, so no, that's fine. There. There we go. That wants to be a stack inserter. Stack inserter capacity +1. If you want to do separate map PvP production battles, I'm almost done with a mod that does the same thing in vanilla. Okay. I don't really want to do that. I want everyone, like, I want short battles. You really need this version of the map though. SSTS. Yeah, that's got the skewed rocket silo launchers, which this one doesn't have. Because you notice the score a minute is where it is at. Or 40 hours, something like that. But I can see it being like a 200-hour monstrosity. How are we doing on the rocket parts department? Epic play for YouTube, not very practical. The problem is it's... as it is, it's... like 4 hours is really enduring. 3 hours in and it was just... couldn't be bothered. Agree, it'd be interesting to have a couple of shorter time frames. Definitely. We just need to... at the end of the day, you just need to try out some different combinations instead of just... there's a lot of talk, and you just need to make a short list of things to try and try them. See what works, what doesn't work. When you logged in, they were 3 hours plus already. 3 hours in. 3 hours in, yeah, just waste of time. If PvP is allowed over after 2 hours, 2 hours goes quick. I think 4 hours, it's like 2 hours of PvP is pretty enduring because it's going to be decided in, for sure, 1 hour. What the hell did I want? Those things. I don't know why I'm doing this. It is a laugh, having said that. There we go. Give it a bit of a boost. Want to see Steel Axe kill? That'd be great. You actually got me wondering about a map which is just PvP tanks. Like, you just spawn in a tank, and then it's free for all, or team versus team in tanks. And then when you're killed, you just respawn in another tank. And person with the most kills, or first to max a target number of kills wins. That would be a fantastic map. At least short term. Oops. Was so let me think. Shred's Nation was geared up for the offensive. I don't think they were they weren't really prepared for defense. Factorio Thunderdome. Oh yeah. Steel Axe was prepared to defend themselves somewhat, but they were not in any position to go out and attacking. Supporters and More Faster, neither. Because, supporters were falling behind everyone else, but just because they started a bit slow and didn't have numbers. And More Faster, because they were not playing for PvP. And people that had their base destroyed could... Oh, yeah, I think that would work with 4 hours. As I say, 4 hours felt really enduring. Like, as it was getting towards the end, it was feeling like I'm starting to get sick of this. It's just how we... Yeah, when you attacked the first time, nobody had any defense. Exterminator... who were you? It was Nick, I think, you hit first. He had, like, nothing, and he was the most offensively geared person on that team, on More Faster. The PDL? At the point you're at, nobody can do anything. That's right. Like, you'd done your strategy, your flame turret strategy, and then it was just like, well, what do we do now? Do we just sit on our thumbs? Do we sit around twiddling our thumbs for 3 hours? It's like, who cares? It's not interesting. Look at the big PvP games. Yeah, one job, Shred. Kill Exterm. Man, you didn't do it. Oh yeah, watch this. No satellite. This music fits. This is Shred Guy's playlist, I think. This is the Cyberpower. Unless you changed. It's a good playlist. Watch this. There. Negative 3.5 million. Yeah, that's why I want the shorter matches, because having a base trashed that you spent hours building just hurts. And that's the fundamental flaw with PvP in Factorio, is it's the cost of losing a battle is too great. Wee. Oil harvest would be more interesting. I think we need to try oil harvest as well. And that, as I was saying, the cost is great. Like, when I finished testing this map, I just drove a tank through here just to see what would happen, and I destroyed several labs. I destroyed, like, driving a tank through here and round here. Oh, I didn't hit I hit the labs, not the rocket silo. But, like, I took out red circuit production. I hit 3 boxes full of steel iron plate. All of this, these modules, oil, all those tanks. Losing all that oil is a huge, like, that's a big thing. You don't lose the points from it, but even losing like a box full of batteries, that's like, that's difficult to recover from, because that's a whole lot of potential laser turrets that you can't craft anymore. Oh yeah, just kill the power, then you're totally screwed. You lose radar coverage. And then you have to craft engines to recover, but you don't know if there's another attack coming after that. So as soon as you succumb to the first attack, it's game over. The game doesn't have any capacity for you to recover. Steam achievement 10% to finish the game one time with launching the rocket. It's stabilized now. But you see the penalty for launching a rocket without a satellite is actually there now. And this will only go up to about 600,000, as I was saying. Now, I need to go back to where I was and actually do the thing that I was meant to be doing. With 14, yeah. Yep. So, artillery without an artillery remote is fairly minimal. I think artillery would be good on an oil harvest type map. I think that's where it really comes into its own. Let's get rid of this. There we go. Blame Omnimods. I actually had the map restricted to 20,000 by 20,000, so it wasn't actually that big. If you went, like, where Fred Nation was, if you went down diagonally further, you wouldn't have been able to go very far. Okay. So I want to get rid of... not them. And not them. I want to get rid of everything else. So we use blacklist. I could have actually, I should have even, not just could have, reduced the map size even further. There was too much space between, realistically. It should have only been like 2,000, like minimum half the distance, if that. I do think you need the tank battle quicker games to refine skill. I played a 30-minute game with Exterminator and it was a hell of a lot of fun. It was basically who gets the highest score in 30 minutes, and the pressure was on. So I think there's a lot of merit in short matches. It was actually 30 minutes so we could go to the buffet. That doesn't seem right. What is going on? I don't get it. PvP mode, it's under scenarios. The scenarios button. It's called it's just called PvP. It has a whole lot of different game modes within it. Oh yeah, Exterminator's just salty that he keeps losing matches too. I really have no idea what I'm looking at. I think I might just redo it all manually. Damn it. Unless... See you later, guy. He hates all speedrunners. Have to rewatch the, it's latency, I'm doing great. Oh, that's a great clip. That's that. No. 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 I think that's it. I must have moved its directory. I'm getting sick of that. He can do more pasta. Ah, there it is. This is what I want. Now. Did I already store it in a book? Oh yeah, that's that one. This is an early version of that book. To remove blueprints, it gets even slower. That's... you really shouldn't be totally dependent on blueprints to play the game. I don't think I have blueprinted them. Actually, every time I beat him, it's because I didn't use blueprints. Or the times when I win, it's because I didn't use blueprints. Blueprints slow you down if you don't know how to use them correctly. Why 12? Uh-oh. I didn't save when I restarted it, didn't I? Yeah, I gotta do the gears again now. Oh yeah, I'm gonna move that up now. Exterminator never uses blueprints even when he should. He never uses them appropriately. There. There we go. Gear modification speedrun, sure is. How's it going, bloops as well? Hope this fine hot day for me finds you well. It's 2,400 divided by 3. 8. So in theory, that's fine. In theory. Wish it was hot here. I wish I had a fan right now. What are we at right now? Oh, it's 19 degrees actually right now, but it's so stupidly humid. Ooh, severe weather warning. Nothing near me. In a 30-min PvP, you can start with power armor. You can start with any level of equipment necessary to complete it. And I prefer the idea of starting with maybe not full power armor. It's broken again. Like maybe not full power armor, but at least something. Like the classic Factorio respawn is terrible. Starting with basically a pistol and 10 rounds. Should at least give you something useful. -9. I don't actually know how cold that is. But, so 32 is 0, so just painfully cold just comes to my mind. Didn't I import this? Just gonna deconstruct everything. What could possibly go wrong? Apart from having a storage system that's completely full, among other things. Yeah, you can keep that -22, thanks. Probably the coldest that I might get -2 once a year. If I'm lucky. And I can barely handle 0 or single digits. Hey monkey, is the base on? No. Serious rebuilds going on. Okay. Let's get this down. This is the upgraded smelter to accommodate for 16 Let's get rid of some crap. He lied. So, how about there-ish? It's colliding with something and I have no idea what. Haven't seen it 60 FPS. Not on, yeah, it's true, not on this base. Okay. Real question is, what was it colliding with? Animals light stuff on fire. Occasionally. So what did it collide with? Probably those, actually. Yep, that was all it was. No idea if this actually works. Oh, crap. Abort mission. Odd smelter design. Oh, hey, V. V. Yeah, it needs light bulbs, actually. Ah, screw it. Now. Let's get more of these down. So, 2. No, it's refusing still. Oh, these stupid things. Okay, let's try again. Again. I think I also touched this. Yes, I did. In which direction is better? So this is the old one, this one here, and this is the new one. This one splits the outputs into 2 halves to account for the belt compression with the undergrounds, because this steel smelter relied on underground compression, and this deals with it. And this one also uses medium power poles, as you can see. If I turn that on, see, this is all nice-ish, except for those. Whereas this is just a slathering of just vomiting wires everywhere. And these need replacing as well. These are the same thing. These depend on underground compression. And so I need to copy this across at some point in the future. Okay. Having said that, I think I put all this in the wrong spot. Yeah, it's for steel. So this is this smelter collectively produces the 16 belts of steel that I need. I think it's still split. Belts still have a significant portion. Oh, you reminded me. I need to complain about us sitting because the game got slower sometime around 16:10. There was a noticeable dip in performance. I keep forgetting. Now. Likely to happen? Huh. Oh yeah, the weather thing has a pretty high cooldown on it. It's like 15 seconds or something. So the problem is that's overlapping that right now. Why? I'm trying to work out what's... yeah, there is that gap in the center that isn't in the other one. Still 9.4 and 8.4. Figure that'd happen. So this is... one tile wider than the older one. Some links do work, like Imgar links do work. It may or may not change depending on how long it takes to get abused. I'm gonna have to give this thing more space though. So move all of the robo-porticans. It's too bad I can't fit two in there. Oh well, even spacing's probably better for these anyway. Ew. A medium pole survived. Praise the substation. Let's move it up a tile. For those who don't normally see, this happens a lot, where I'll get to the end and say, yeah, I think that looked better up a tile, so I'll move it up a tile. Completely duplicating the amount of time it takes for me to do anything. Doubling, if I'm lucky, normally tripling. Middle Earth. Yes, praise the substation. I know some people have a thing against them. Alrighty. Let's try this again. This time a little bit to the left. Substations are life, substations are solar. So you go there. And I have to move the next lot of roboports. I'm gonna have to check the alignment of the railway tracks too. think I'm all emptied out on crap for this thing. All the bots were hard work wiped out in an instant. Only time you use substations is solar, really? You need to embrace the substation. They're wonderful things. This base is entirely made up of, almost entirely made up of substations. I used to have a lot more medium poles, but I've been reducing them. Okay. So trains, these things, because they're an odd number, trains will always sit offset like that. Let's clear this out the way. Now, there's the next one there. So I'm just headaching right now. Brain is working overdrive. So there's the next. There. Actually, I got a better idea. Let's not do that. Let us instead do that. And blueprint the 4. Because it's 4 groups of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Best builds don't include power poles. Alright, let's blueprint that. Let us blueprint. How does this compare? Those are touching. The substations, that is. So I might need to rearrange them manually. I'm gonna have to finish up soon too. Because it's getting really hot. You go there. Spots pretend to insert things. Scoopy scoopy bots, scoopy scoopy bots. Machines that touch shouldn't need power connections. That's starting to sound awful complex to set up. Alright, and then finally, we'll deconstruct the whole rest. I'll keep that end row of Robopores, and that's going to be a lot of steel that I'm going to scoop up. Where the hell is it there? So I've done 2, I'm halfway. Now, let's do the rest. If it isn't blocked. Why are you blocked? It's not thinking about the programming part. Ah, yep. I'm sure you would fully appreciate the programming aspect that that introduces. I don't doubt that. What's blocking it? Because I've deconstructed everything. Oh, uncharted area maybe. Let's try that. I think it's uncharted area. Hey, Crotchety. Bye, Crotchety. There goes half the frame rate holding this thing. Nope, still refusing. Shift click it and see what happens. See if I can find the roboport. There it is. I found the roboport. That one was happy. So that's all the smelting rebuilt for 16. Well, preparing for rebuild. I was hoping to get further along with science than I did, but I did get most of it done. Oh, I missed that, that's why. That'll do it. So in that case, if I can move down... There we go, now it places. Excellent. So that's steel finalized, finally. So I can start routing steel. Yeah, I got military and blue done, and fixed pipe, which I hadn't actually... Oh, engines, which I hadn't actually done. Finished moving that. Yes, the rocket silo is going to be there. Nowhere near as much progress as I'd wanted. I wanted actually to move high-tech and purple, but I'm not going to be able to do that now. I need to get moving. Both because of the heat and because food. Now, unfortunately, I'm fairly certain there's no one on. No one on that I know. Could always go to someone non-Factorio, having said that. Who's that going to? $3.5 million trees. Do you intend to make your belts underground so they could be visible? In saying that, when I go over to here, there is a performance drop. This is actually from the bots right now, but there is a noticeable performance drop looking at this thing. Yeah. How hot it is? It's technically only 19 degrees right now, but it's incredibly humid. My back is like completely wet. Ah. Yeah, it's an FPS problem, which is something that I predicted would happen, was that if you have all these belts exposed, it's going to cause a huge FPS drop. I am making some concessions, like I'm making the corners look like this now, so the corners are fully exposed, to try and at least get some of it exposed, but a lot of the undergrounding, like visually, unfortunately is still necessary. Unit programming done? I'll catch you later then, Liquid Media. I think I'm about to finish anyway. Because this is just going to grind itself out for hours otherwise. I'll just leave it do its thing.